Released by Platinum Games in the year 2009 on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, Bayonetta would be a stylish action game from the creator of the Devil May Cry series. Written and directed by Hideki Kamiya, who also directed Resident Evil 2, Beautiful Joe, and Okami, the game would be the third project released by Platinum Games during its debut year. For story, the game features a witch named Bayonetta as she learns more about her forgotten past. For gameplay, the combat is mainly action hack and slash, with rewards for more quick, clean, and stylish fighting, utilizing over a dozen weapons and deep combo trees. In addition, there are a variety of gameplay levels, including driving and gallery shooting, unlockable costumes, multiple difficulty modes, secret modes and bosses, and a hidden playable character. The story only gets larger from here, so let's cut it down to size with a recapitation. As the game begins, we learn that for centuries there have been two rival clans, the Umbra Witches of Darkness and the Lumen Sages of Light. Both clans respected each other for the sake of balancing their power, though a point would come where disagreement would escalate into open war. While the Umbra Witches would eventually win this war, humanity feared their power and began the witch hunts, overrunning them when they were still recovering from their long war. It would not be long before the subjugated witches were wiped from existence down to just one. Jumping to the present day, we see a military transport where on board, a gun-toting woman in red spies on a group of Lumen Sages killing themselves in order to bring about angelic monsters. Elsewhere, we see a witch named Bayonetta and her lackey Enzo overseeing a coffin as they wait for angels from God to claim the soul inside. As soon as the creatures appear, though they are invisible to humans of this plane, Bayonetta is able to not only see them, but also pass through into another dimension. Quickly slaughtering the angels before them, a powerful demon named Rodin emerges from the coffin, proclaiming news of his demise was greatly exaggerated and reminding Enzo of his heavy debt to him. Suiting up for battle, Bayonetta's hair forms skin-tight protection around her as Rodin tosses her handguns as her weapon of choice, attaching and firing magic bullets from them, from her heels as well as her hands. Dancing and dodging circles around her foes, Bayonetta collects the halos from the Fallen, coveted by demons, as she accidentally crushes Enzo's car in the process. Afterwards, Bayonetta asks Enzo about the intel she asked him to get, and as they drive away, he recounts how Bayonetta was found 20 years ago in a casket at the bottom of a lake. She doesn't remember much except for the fact she's a witch and is forced to kill a daily quota of angels, else she will be dragged to hell. He assures her he secured information on a particular stone she's looking for, which may be a clue to her mysterious past as well. Reflecting, Bayonetta can only remember snippets of her past, such as a woman in red standing over several dead witches. She then notices a bug on Enzo and tosses it away, noting a car following them, and suddenly a military transport plane crashing behind them into the highway. She enters witch time but sees she's not the only one, as the woman in red she saw in her memories is within the crash plane, destroying the angels within. She knows Bayonetta and comments how weak she is now, challenging her while at the same time cleaning up the angels. Not missing a beat, Bayonetta does the same, as the two seem to harmonize almost naturally during combat, yet the woman leaves before Bayonetta can get any answers. Saving Enzo, a memory of the woman in red stabbing Bayonetta surfaces within her as she continues to Rodin's bar. He mentions it's hard to tell the difference between the different worlds these days, as beyond the human world of chaos there is heaven and hell, also called Paradiso and Inferno. There is also a parallel world to the human world central to the Trinity of Realities called Purgatorio, where all three can interact. Rodin is concerned about the balance between the realms being thrown into chaos, and he finds the timing of Enzo's tip awfully suspicious. An expert weaponsmith as well as bartender, Rodin wonders if someone in her past is calling her out, and so gives Bayonetta a custom-made set of handguns, Scarborough Fair. Loving the high caliber, Bayonetta approves and equips them, unafraid of the danger ahead and leaving immediately. Enzo explains a stone called the Right Eye has gone for sale in the European black market and is part of the set called the Eyes of the World. The owner of the stone is in the town of Vigrid, and arriving, Bayonetta hears a voice welcoming her and telling her the time has come to awaken the eyes of the world. The voice seems to speak with a personal familiarity to Bayonetta's past, but she sees no one is there. Traveling through the Purgatorio side of Vigrid, Rodin sees the town is teeming with angels like he suspected, and informs Bayonetta while some places naturally gravitate towards Inferno or Paradiso, Vigrid is extremely close to Paradiso. Seeing the profit opportunity here, Rodin makes a deal that he'll stay out of her way and upkeep his weapon crafting, as long as she does her thing and keeps the halos coming. Seeing some unusual effects occurring around her, Bayonetta finds the angels here indeed stronger, unleashing her powerful Wicked Weave techniques from her pack demon Madaba Butterfly, as well as summoning demons channeled through her hair like the dragon Gamora. Seeing some cliffside buildings here trigger a memory from the past where she knows she's been here before, fighting angels alongside other witches. Snapping out of it, she looks up to see the woman in red crash down on a motorcycle burdened with angels, crushing them all with the vehicle as a weapon, and pausing to talk to Bayonetta. The woman in red guesses Bayonetta is here to seek answers about her past, but Bayonetta is curious why the woman is so familiar and has the same powers as her. The woman scoffs at Bayonetta, thinking they're on the same level, showing how she just lifted her Umbran watch off her person without Bayonetta even noticing. Hastily, Bayonetta tries to take it back, but the woman is one step ahead each time, accusing her of forgetting her destiny and wasting the past 20 years. She tosses Bayonetta back her watch after she's proved her point, and humbled, Bayonetta asks directly about her past. The woman states that there are two overseers called the Eyes of the World that are the power behind everything, and suddenly this triggers Bayonetta to remember some things. She recalls this woman is named Jeanne and was heir to the Umbra Witch clan, as when she was going through her rite of passage she chose Bayonetta the outcast as her opponent, much to the shock of everyone. Bayonetta was the impure child, but Jeanne revealed she had secretly sparred against Bayonetta before, and the sanctioned fight began. Snapping back, Bayonetta sees Jeanne was once her friend and has already left, and also recalls how she could gain additional power from the moon's light. Later, she spots a scarfed man fleeing from the authorities, escape with a grappling hook, and pause when he catches a familiar scent. The man named Luca knows this perfume well as the one belonging to Bayonetta, wielding a camera and trying to snap a picture of her. Bayonetta knows him too, calling him Cheshire, and knows he was the journalist who planted the bug on Enzo and has been following her. Luca shoots back he hasn't forgotten what he saw as a child, recalling 20 years ago his father was the one who unsealed Bayonetta's casket at the bottom of a lake, but as he saw it, Bayonetta killed him. Bayonetta continues to tease him and chooses to save him from angels that descend down, but to herself she empathizes with why he pursues her, though claims there is a misunderstanding. Continuing to explore the town, she comes across a church wherein she spots a little girl here by herself, and looking at the girl, more memories come back to her, especially seeing the large angel that attacked the witches in the past did so, trying to take the Eye of the World the Witch Clan once held. The same creature attacks her again, tearing the church from land, asking if she was the one to summon it to this world, and knows that Bayonetta made a pact with the darkness to gain the powers of a witch. Seeing she is not its summoner, it leaves despite Bayonetta trying to fight it, though the town now erupts with fire and lava consuming everything. Escaping the burning streets, she spots the giant angel again, overhearing it talking to someone else about her, and interrupts it, as it turns and introduces itself as Fortitudo, one of the highest ranking members of Paradiso. Bayonetta lets down more of her hair as Fortitudo attacks, throwing it out of the sky, tearing off each of its heads one by one, and summoning the demonic Raven Malphus to finish it off. Fortitudo says Bayonetta's power is as foretold, which intrigues her, accepting being a sacrifice for the resurrection of the creator Jubileus before being dragged away. Bayonetta dives down from the destroyed battlefield, hearing the strange voice again, yet unsure of where she is now. She finds her lipstick sitting curiously in the path, and it turns out this was bait by Luca to try and capture her on film again and expose her to the world. Doodling on his face from beyond the realm, she hears out his continued grievance against her, but still saves his life again. Using ancient but functioning witch relics, she climbs the mountain to find Jeanne speaking to an angel upset at her meddling. Seeing Bayonetta, Jeanne tells her their duel for the Jewel of the Umbra Throne was never resolved, and so she seeks to finish it now. Clashing in the storm, both ladies seem evenly matched in their techniques and power, but Jeanne breaks off the duel, seeing Bayonetta is still not ready. She takes her leave while showing her ability to transform into various beasts, and Bayonetta emulates the same, turning into a speedy panther. Following her to ancient proving grounds, she then spots the little girl again and saves her from some angels. Reaching out to check on the girl, she hears the voice in her head again saying the girl is the key to her future. Saving the girl once again, Bayonetta is surprised to find the girl is now calling her mommy, strongly rejecting that and upsetting the girl. As the witch handles a crying child her own way, the girl still thinks Bayonetta is her mother, though the witch acknowledges it's remarkable the girl made it up here alive somehow. She learns the girl's name is Cereza, but the child's responses to her questions don't get very far. Cereza says her father told her to come here, though is at work somewhere. With a heavy sigh, Bayonetta agrees to safely get her out of here, but isn't thrilled about her new follower, escorting her past the dangers outside. Finding her options limited in the human realm, she finds another gate to Paradiso and goes through, able to defeat their pursuers. As Bayonetta deals with the larger threats, Cereza is captured by the angels, including one disguised as Bayonetta herself, though the little girl is able to detect the real one. Facing off against her doppelganger, they attempt to resolve things with a posing battle, but as the fake loses, it reveals its true form, and Bayonetta is quick to execute the joyful double. Wondering where Cereza has run off to, she enters a gate that leads back to Vigrid on an Air Force base, where she sees the little girl standing next to Luca. Luca is shocked to think of Bayonetta as a mother, but tells her how to get to the island where the gem may be. He then takes Cereza protectively, thinking Bayonetta put a spell on her, and now she's hers. Bayonetta actually feels this is a good turnout, as both burdens can watch each other and stay out of the way. As Bayonetta keeps them both safe, she sees Cereza is able to see into Purgatorio despite being in the human realm, which should not be possible for a normal girl. Seeing the abnormally strong storm for what it truly is, Bayonetta is met by the angel that was speaking to Jean, Temperantia, who calls out Bayonetta as an overseer. It adds the first Armageddon split reality into light, dark, and chaos, and their goal is resurrecting the Creator so that the Trinity of Realities can be unified. For this, Bayonetta needs to be sacrificed, and in response, Bayonetta climbs up the shadow of the Colossus and summons the demon Hecatoncheir and its many arms to pulverize the foe. Laughing during its defeat, it mentions something about her eyes as Bayonetta catches the last train out and Jean watches from afar. Seeing the island she needs to get to that has the stone, Bayonetta spots Luca attempting to run the security checkpoint with Cereza, and moving quickly, sprints down the highway to clear the way safely ahead for them. Catching up, Luca says they should be heading towards the Ithavoll group building for the stone, and Bayonetta finds it awfully suspicious he always seems to know where she's going before she does. Fending off the persistent security forces after them, Bayonetta finds Paradiso has its own road warrior, seizing a motorcycle to quickly catch up on the Furious Road. After she navigates the crazy motorcycle chase, she stays behind to deal with angels destroying the bridge, though tumbles into a portal to Paradiso afterwards. Finding herself in the Graveyard of Remembrance, she spots remnants of locations of her past, and exploring the dreamlike area, she fights a golem able to mimic her wicked weaves even down to her summons. Eventually making it to the Umbra Sanctuary she grew up in, memories come back to her and she recalls she's actually been to Vigrid before. She then finds a carving denoting the friendship of Jean and Cereza, wondering what the girl has to do with this. At the same time, Luca is taking care of Cereza, calming the child down with a red lollipop and learning her toy cat friend's name is Cheshire, while Bayonetta hears Cereza cry for help through a gate and rushes in. She reaches them in time, and Cereza notes Luca cannot see into Purgatorio like her. She enchants her glasses and hands it to him, and looking through, he's shocked to see the monstrous angels Bayonetta battles with constantly for the first time. He thinks back to the moment when his father died and remembers clearly a battle just like this took place, only he could not see it, and now thinks there was a misunderstanding. As the ground crumbles beneath Bayonetta, Luca makes a valiant effort to save her, but she politely declines the help, instead hurrying to retrieve Cereza's dropped toy. Giant tentacles try to seize her, belonging to the powerful Justitia, though she savagely dismembers it with the titanic centipede Scolopendra. As it falls, it says the Lumen Sage was the one who foretold this, as nearby, Cereza explains to Luca Bayonetta is a strong witch who protects people, wishing to do the same when she grows up. As Bayonetta returns, Luca admits Bayonetta was right in that he misunderstood how his father died, sharing how his father was a journalist too who became obsessed with chasing the story of the Umbra Witches and Lumen Sages. 500 years ago, they controlled the world with a power called the Eyes of the World from their hometown of Vigrid, this same town she's been called to. Each clan controlled one eye with the power to create history, overseeing the world, until a pair of star-crossed lovers conceived a child. This forbidden act would tear both clans apart, as the woman was imprisoned and the man was exiled, with the child remaining in the Umbra's care as an outcast. The balance of light and dark lost, rumor had it both eyes could be united to control reality itself, and both sides warred over this rumor until their mutual destruction. No one believed his father's story except for Luca, and following in his footsteps is why Luca continues to pursue Bayonetta, who validates his story. He adds the Ithavoll group that controls Vigrid isn't selling the stone in the open, so they need to acquire it by other means, starting with sneaking onto a nearby jet headed to the private island they're on. Cereza asks Bayonetta what she's looking for, and beginning to explain, Bayonetta asks her if she has anything very important to her. Cereza pulls out a watch that her mother gave to her for her birthday, and touching it, Bayonetta remembers that she once received the same from her mother. Thinking about this, she takes off one of her red ribbons and ties it to the watch, telling Cereza she must keep the things she loves close to her heart. While all three make it to the transport, Cereza slips into the plane while Luca tumbles off and Bayonetta breaks inside. Someone else's magic and angels try to throw Bayonetta overboard, and she's not surprised to find Jean behind things. Jean teases Bayonetta for her sudden attachment to the girl, and Bayonetta counters she's hiding something too, tossing her the wood carving with both of their names. Jean hesitates but claims it means nothing when their fight is interrupted by another high-class entity urging Jean to get on with her mission. Annoyed, Jean sends the angel away, who shoots the plane down in retaliation, and as Jean and Bayonetta duel, Jean tells her to prove she is worthy of the left eye. After another battle, Bayonetta slips away to rescue Cereza as Jean claims she still isn't ready. Finding her, Bayonetta is so relieved she calls her by name, while the plane sinks into the sea and snaps in half. Luca arrives with a helicopter to save them both, though she hands him Cereza to take care of while she takes care of the enemy that shot down the plane to begin with, Sapientia. Sapientia comments how unreliable both witches and humanity are, as even their leader's humanity cost them the Creator's resurrection attempt 500 years ago. Though he did spur on the witch hunts, helping wipe out the Umbra clan and establishing Vigrid as a foothold for Paradiso. It mentions how all that's left is the awakening of the left eye, as Bayonetta surfs towards it atop the stormy sea. Dodging its entrapping whirlpool, Bayonetta summons the demonic tarantula Phantasma Renee to disable and devour the angel, stating they'll never get her stone. Sapientia laughs that this isn't about any stone, as Bayonetta joins Cereza and Luca aboard the helicopter and they fly the rest of the way. Luca is distracted for research purposes, as a pair of missiles home in on them. Blowing up the helicopter, Bayonetta safely saves them all and assumes direct control of one of them, steering it back towards the island. Arriving at Isla del Sol, Bayonetta is quickly greeted by Jean, who believes that by making it here, she is now ready. Jean then explains how there was a law between the Lumen Sages and Umbra Witches that stated the intersection of light and dark would bring calamity to the world, and this was violated when Bayonetta was born 500 years ago, indirectly causing the destruction of both clans. However, she also reveals that she was the one to stab Bayonetta 500 years ago as part of sealing her left eye of the world in order to prevent it from being united with the enemy's right eye. As the successor to the clan, it is her responsibility to prevent the clan's treasures from falling into the wrong hands, and if that means destroying Bayonetta and this island, she'll do it. Interrupting her, Luca steals Jean's missile control remote right out of her hands and gets away with Cereza, but Jean smirks as the ride explodes and the missiles launch anyway. As the force of their duel topples skyscrapers, Jean begins to take Bayonetta seriously, donning her own Umbra Witch form similar to Bayonetta's. Under the full moon's power, their wall-running, missile-riding fight ends in Bayonetta's victory, and Jean is relieved to finally have their battle resolved properly. She tells Bayonetta the fear of her past is still holding her back, and despite this, she's accepted her fate, and this strength is why Bayonetta possesses the left eye. Bayonetta wonders why so many had to die for the red gem she has, and Jean reveals the actual secret of the stone. When Jean was the last bastion of the witches and defeated the treacherous Lumen Sages while protecting Bayonetta, she shows she was indeed best friends with Cereza, which is Bayonetta's real childhood name, and so sealed her and her memories of the left eye within the red gem for safekeeping. Jean pushes her friend to see the truth for herself now, getting her out of the way as missiles now strike Jean directly. After the witch is blasted back, with amazing luck, Luca happens to enter the exact room of the exact floor of the exact building Bayonetta was knocked into, and even she is amazed at him beating those uncanny odds, but he insists there was a little more skill involved in his escape than that. Glad to see Cereza safe and appreciating his efforts to cheer her up, Bayonetta recognizes Luca by calling him by his name properly this time. As they go to the top of the Ithavoll building, Luca observes they are being watched and welcomed, and Bayonetta hears the strange voice again, only this time, so does Cereza, calling out to her father. As Cereza dashes ahead to him, Bayonetta runs after her into the blinding light, though the doors lock behind her and Cereza is nowhere to be found. Taking the elevator up her own way, Bayonetta sees the top actually crosses over into Paradiso very strongly as she enters a strange gate. Beyond, Cereza is sitting in the lap of a man who paints her lips red and welcomes Bayonetta as she enters as his own Cereza. The last Lumen Sage turns around to introduce himself as Baldur, her father, greeting her after their 500-year separation, not that she would remember. Bayonetta then asks how did he obtain little Cereza, and to begin, Baldur explains Bayonetta is the left eye of the eyes of the world, not some stone. He adds her entire journey has been guided for the purpose of awakening the left eye, including exposing her uncorrupted eye to the history it could not see, herself as a child in the form of Cereza plucked from the past. Luca enters the scene to mock Baldur's plans to remake the universe, and Baldur shoots back Luca's father also had a problem with his philosophies, which is why he had him killed after discovering Cereza's coffin. Outraged at his father's true murderer, Luca is seized by Baldur's angels as they begin to tear him apart the same way his father was, and though Bayonetta frees him, Baldur quickly flings him out of the window. Baldur then comments how Jean was especially challenging to catch and reprogram to help him, as he then absorbs little Cereza into himself, emanating explosive power. Ascending to a new form, Baldur pushes Bayonetta to the limit as she finds even her most powerful demons are haplessly defeated by him. Baldur hurls entire buildings and drops orbital satellites at the witch, though his daughter edges out a win, shooting her mother's lipstick at him as a final blow. As Baldur falls, Cereza is separated safely, and even Luca is rescued in the end. With her Witch Watch, Bayonetta opens Baldur's gate to the past and returns Cereza to whence she was displaced. She tells her this was all just a dream, reminding her there's nothing she cannot overcome and to keep her treasure safe, as she sings the same lullaby her own mother used to sing to her. Upon returning, things seem over, but a sudden pain racks Bayonetta as she experiences the effects of tampering with her own past. She now sees Cereza grow up, taking to heart the advice to keep her watch close to her heart, and also that there is nothing she cannot overcome. As a result, when Jean would attempt to stab her in the heart to seal her, the watch would block the blow, and so Bayonetta and her memories would not be sealed, and instead she would join Jean in resisting the invasion. With this, the left eye is restored, Bayonetta glows red with an awesome power, and Baldur rises up stronger than ever with the power of the right eye activated too. He clarifies he was never interested in Bayonetta specifically, but rather her as the child Cereza, as Cereza was the one who saw the world through innocent eyes, could give rise to a new history, and was the real energy to waking the left eye. Taking Bayonetta with him into a giant statue of a goddess, it awakens with both her and Baldur as its actual eyes. As it turns out, Ithobal Tower was actually a giant rocket as it lifts off and blasts into space. Jeanne now appears, having used the lingering magic of Bayonetta's gem to shield herself as she rides her motorcycle into the sky using angels as stepping stones. Determined to rescue Bayonetta, she fends off enemies as the rocket escapes the atmosphere, scaling the spire of gold towards the goddess statue. With the power of his eye, Baldur blows up a distant planet to fling its meteors towards Jeanne as he claims it is time for Jubileus to return. Jeanne frees her friend, telling her she has the power to end this as Jubileus absorbs Baldur and completes its resurrection. Back on her feet, Bayonetta battles Jubileus through the wind and the chill and the rain, working together with Jeanne to summon the almighty cosmic darkness, Queen Sheba. Dwarfing Jubileus, Queen Sheba's galactic strike knocks Jubileus with a force strong enough to send it flying through the entire solar system, destroying it as it collides with the sun. As the game ends, the statue's remnant now hurtles towards Earth as a meteoric last act of defiance as Bayonetta lands on it and Jeanne catches up, saying she simply found her motorcycle drifting in space and drove it here. Things heat up as they re-enter the atmosphere, and determined to both get home alive while saving the world, the duo team up to demolish the charred counterattack together. There is no sign of the witches after the descent, as a few days pass when Luca, Enzo, and Rodin attend a funeral with Bayonetta back in her coffin. However, as angels descend down, the funeral isn't for her, as Jeanne and Bayonetta are back in action and ready to keep the dance going. Bayonetta has enjoyed the success of selling over 1.8 million copies worldwide. Thank you for watching this recap, I hope it helped, and if you like this, check out the recap for the sequel Bayonetta 2, though I really recommend playing them, they're really good action games. Subscribe for more recaps like this, share with someone who could use it, and shout out to the patrons and channel members. If you would like to support the show yourself, please follow the links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Battlefield.